Okay. Hi, this is the One Hit Wonders for DataFest 2024. So, meet the team. I'm Abby, and then joining me is Julia, Davis, and Kate. And today we will be covering the objective, the pulse questions, the question types, videos, and future steps. So our guiding question is, how can Course Kata design effective learning tools that improve student performance on summative assessments?
So we first looked at what gaps exist between how students perform on the end of chapter questions and their feelings about the course through the pulse check surveys. Here, the survey results correspond to the chapter they refer to, not the chapter they're taken in since they're taken at the start of a chapter. So looking at the changes in average grades and pulse check responses, we can see that utility and intrinsic value follow very similar patterns. Both increase in the second half of the course, even as grades decrease. This suggests that as students learn more advanced material, they're more satisfied with what they're learning regardless of their performance. We can see that the chapters of the course align with this sentiment. Feelings of value and utility begin to increase at chapter 8, which is digging into deeper models. So it seems that as students learn to apply what they've learned, they feel as though they're getting more value and utility from this course. Another interesting insight from this data is that expectancy or students' confidence about how well they know the material drops the most from chapters 1 to 2 and never recovers to the same level as utility and intrinsic value. Since this confidence in data does not match the behavior of students' performance on the questions, this suggests that something is missing in how Course Kata rewards performance. Which brings us to our first set of recommendations. First, positive reinforcement or increased feedback could be beneficial at the start of the course to build confidence as students attempt new problems. Research has found that increasing feedback and teaching how to incorporate that feedback into work in statistics courses specifically is immensely beneficial to students' performance. Currently, some questions, such as open-ended questions, provide no feedback. Adding hints, encouragement, and other pieces of feedback could increase students' confidence in the material and thus their performance in the review questions. Secondly, Course Kata can foster intrinsic value by providing interesting examples that apply what students are learning to the real world. Examples of statistics being used in sports, medicine, and finance could all highlight the importance of what students are learning. Adding examples like these earlier in the course when topics tend to be more disjointed could help prevent the drop of value and utility felt by students in the first half of the course. Maintaining students' interest and excitement about the material could lead to improved retention of the course material.
So next we wanted to see how question type affects the end of chapter scores. From this bar graph, we can see that there are 16 chapters and the type of questions used are mostly multiple choice, making up more than half of the questions. The second most common type of question are essay questions, and the third are choice matrix questions. So to explore the effect of question type on scores further, we fitted a regression tree and random forest. The plot to the right is an importance plot, which shows how the random forest, fitted with all the question types, has choice matrix questions as the most important predictor of end of chapter scores. This is followed by multiple choice questions and essay questions. The regression tree shown on the left explains how the question types can decide the splits of end of chapter scores. There are a few important takeaways from the tree. One is that when the percentage of choice matrix is high, the end of chapter scores are higher, which can be seen from the top node on the tree. Another point is that a higher percentage of multiple choice questions leads to lower scores. From the tree and forest, a recommendation we have for Course Kata is that if you want an increase in end of chapter scores, one method is to increase the percentage of choice matrix questions. Another option is to decrease the percent of multiple choice questions and replace them with more short text or match list questions.
For our last section, we focused on the media views data to determine whether watching videos improves student performance on summative assessments such as the end of chapter questions. This analysis only focuses on the college book ABC, but can be performed for the other textbooks. We did a k-means clustering to map student IDs based on the number of video attempts and their EOC scores. And it's important to note that these EOC scores, the number of attempts, were normalized. Clustering models are distance-based algorithms, so features with higher ranges might have a bigger influence on clustering, and therefore standardization is required when building the model. As you can see in the plot, there are 4 distinct clusters corresponding to the average values, and the right of the slide shows these average values. The 4 clusters for attempts are the dog ate my homework, star student, quick learner, and A for effort. And these are the different types of students that might be watching Course Kata's videos. We think Course Kata should focus on student types 1 and 4, as they're scoring lower than the average student. These A for effort students are particularly concerning for Course Kata because they are attempting to watch the videos but are still scoring lower. So that could be something for Course Kata to address. An additional k-means clustering was performed, but this time, instead of video attempts, we looked at the proportion of video watched. These clusters differ slightly from the previous k-means clustering. This analysis found that student types 1 and 3, the dog ate my homework, and almost there students perform lower than average on the end of chapter questions. These students could definitely benefit from watching the full length of the videos. Finally, moving on to some recommendations for Course Kata to improve videos. First, we think that Course Kata should roll out more videos. Currently, there are only 5 videos available, and they were within chapters 4 and 5. STAR students really benefit from these videos and perform higher than the average student on those end of chapter questions. Additionally, we think having review videos at the end of chapters to summarize the main content could be beneficial in improving summative assessment scores. And then finally, Course Kata could suggest or even require videos for these lower performing students, especially the dog ate my homework and almost there students who tend to not watch the full length of the videos. And with that, we thank you for listening to our presentation.